Your analyst agent is basically is an agent that will generate insights based on your data. So when it comes to your data and so on, let's show you very, very quickly how we can go about doing that. I'm going to get a file. Once I get the file, should be able to put it in. And there's my file is there. Now, the other thing, right, for those of you who have not used your M365 Copilot yet, anytime when you upload a file or anything, it will go directly into your OneDrive. We definitely do not have to worry about where the data is going to go. All right, so I actually have this file here, a very simple file, which is called Project Nexus, a survey result. It's just a output from a survey that we have done. All right, I'm just going to open the file very quickly just to show you what is there. Inside here, what you will see is data that we have. We are now going to actually run the item. Nothing else inside there is just a very simple data file, like any Excel file that you might have. So what we have inside, let me just close that and let me just upload it. All right, and then we can start running it. Okay, so upload your file and start prompting. So you notice when you upload your file, right, it will directly tell you that it's going to put it into your OneDrive. So for those of you who are worried about where the data is going and so on, the data goes into your OneDrive, which means you have control over your data and you can then either use it, delete it, or whatever you want to do with it. Again, only you have access to that. Other people in your organization won't have access to this file unless you share it with them. They won't have access to this file. What is the average rating for each survey category? Again, it will go into your file and it will start retrieving those information based on what they have there. So you can look at the reasoning. Now, those items that they're doing there, those are all Python. All right, they're loading the Excel file into Python. They're actually writing Python codes in the back end. All right, and then they are actually analyzing the data. You can ask it a lot of queries later, but for the start, it is now going to perform all of those works based on what you're asking there. And there's your answer, average rating for each category and so on. And they also tell you what is their key points and assumptions that they have used. Anytime when you're interested to use your analyst agent and so on, you can go in, have a look what they're doing. The analyst agent actually has the reasoning section and it does show you what it's doing. For those of you who are slightly more savvy and you have Python experience, you can see what they're doing there. If not, don't worry. But as usual, you need to double check the outcome, all right? You need to make sure that your input data is accurate. And that is why this current stage, right, for those people who have limited knowledge in what you're doing and you're expecting it to do the work for you, yes, it will do the work. But to guarantee accuracy and so on, it is all totally on your responsibility. So the human is still responsible for accuracy. So you can actually ask direct quantitative questions and so on. For example, I want to ask this question here. How many participants rated this project satisfaction as 4 or higher? It will basically again go into all your data, get those information and explain, all right, or give you what you call is the output that you want. Again, depending on how much of data you have, depends on how complex your request is. The time of replying to you might vary. So in this case here, that is what is done. Notice it also gives you suggestion, right, of do you want me to do a bar chart and so on. So when it comes to working with AI, especially with the analysts, all right, and especially with having Python in place, it can actually generate chart based on items that you want. Of course, you can click as simple as generate a bar chart of project satisfaction rating, or you can do things as create a bar chart comparing the average ratings of project satisfaction, communication effectiveness, blah, 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 and so on. Another thing that you have to be careful, right? Your file inside there, right? Your column names need to be clear. Don't have your column name as X, Y, Z, and so on. Then AI will not be able to help you. One of the things that is surfacing here is the ability for us to explain what we want and have our data in a very, very clear manner. And then after that, it will generate the chart for us. Now, whether the chart is accurate or not, whether the chart is saying what I want or not, that is totally for you to go and check on it, analyze it, and then start working with it. Okay. So because they have Python as their engine behind here, and Python can create any kind of charts. All right. You just have to explain what you want and what data goes into the chart, and it will try its best to do it for you.